Welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into the commentary behind a few incredibly powerful verses from Surah Al A. Our goal is to really unpack the layers of meaning that are built into the original text. You'll see how a single, straightforward command is actually built on a really profound understanding of language, of revelation, and even of human psychology.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the verses themselves, get the foundation right. Then we'll explore the deeper meaning of the book, look at the two forms of revelation, and touch on the nature of prophecy. From there, we'll get into the concepts of fear and obedience, and finally, we'll see how all of this builds toward the ultimate divine command. Okay, first things first, let's look at the verses that form the very core of our entire discussion today. Everything we're about to analyze, every concept we unpack, it all stems directly from these specific words. So these two verses from Surah Al A, they just immediately set this powerful stage. Right off the bat, the Quran is defined as a book sent down. Then it pivots to address the prophet's internal state, his own feelings. It defines his mission as both a warning and a reminder. And then boom, it issues a clear, unmistakable command to all believers. Every single phrase here is just loaded with significance, and that's what we're here to unpack. Now, to really grasp the weight of these verses, the commentary we're studying takes us back, right to the very beginning of the chapter. We're going to forensically analyze the nature of this book itself, starting with those mysterious disconnected letters that open the surah. The surah kicks off with these 4 letters: Aleph, Lam, Mim, Sad. Now, the source commentary we're analyzing doesn't just stop at the common explanations for these letters. It dives much deeper into their linguistic and, believe it or not, even their physiological significance. The commentator offers this really fascinating linguistic insight. It points out that some of these letters, like meme, are categorized as labial letters, which just means they're physically formed by your lips. The theory being presented is that their placement isn't random at all. It's a profound link between the most basic physical act of human speech and the divine origin of the message that's about to be spoken. It's pretty incredible when you think about it. And here, you can see the exact passage from the source commentary where this linguistic analysis is laid out. This lets us put on our archivist hats and follow the scholar's reasoning step by step as they connect the science of phonetics directly to the theology of revelation. So, from those opening letters, we move to the first key word in the verse itself, kitab, which we translate as book. But the source makes it absolutely clear that this term means something far more profound than just a collection of pages bound together. This really requires a fundamental shift in perspective. The Quran, this kitab, isn't presented as a text that was written or composed over time, piece by piece. No, in this view, it's a pre-existing, perfect, and unified reality. It existed as a complete whole with God before a single word of it was ever revealed to humanity. Now, this idea of the kitab as a singular, perfect thing naturally leads to a really critical theological question about the mechanics of its delivery. I mean, how did this one perfect thing arrive? Well, the source explains that this happens in 2 distinct but totally complementary ways. This is the central puzzle the commentary seeks to solve. If the book is one complete thing, how do we account for its piecemeal revelation over more than 2 decades? The answer, according to the source, is found in the nuanced meaning of sending down. The answer lies in the term inzal, the Arabic verb revelation. The commentator explains that this single word is actually doing double duty. It's describing 2 different simultaneous divine actions that were both true for the Quran. And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. There was a one-time complete revelation, the inzal defi, where the entire reality of the Quran was sent to the prophet's heart, establishing its unity. And then there was the gradual revelation, the inzal tadriji, where that exact same reality was delivered piece by piece over 23 years for our guidance. The key takeaway is both are true at the same time. Okay, so this dual form revelation, this naturally leads us to the very nature of divine communication itself, the concept of wahi, and the prophet's absolutely unique role in receiving it without any distortion. The source defines wahi with incredible precision. This is not a subjective inspiration, not a gut feeling, not just a good idea. It's presented as a direct, objective, and protected channel of communication from the divine. There's zero ambiguity, zero doubt, and absolutely no room for human error in its transmission. Now, let's circle back to that original verse. After establishing the divine nature of the revelation, God speaks directly to the prophet with this incredibly personal reassurance, so let there be no haraj, or anxiety, in your breast from it.
So what does this actually mean? It means God is proactively taking away the natural human anxiety the prophet would feel. I mean, think about it. You're being asked to deliver a message that completely upends societal norms, challenges the most powerful people, and invites ridicule. That is an immense psychological burden. So God is essentially saying, look, this weight isn't yours to carry. The message is mine. Your only job is to deliver it faithfully. The results? That's my domain.
This divine reassurance, this command not to feel anxiety from what people might do, is directly linked to much bigger concept the source explores, the different kinds of fear itself, and how one type of fear actually cancels out the other. The source text makes this absolutely critical distinction. On one hand, you have that destructive, paralyzing fear of what other people might think or do. That's the source of anxiety, the kharaj. But then you have the constructive, motivating awe of God, and they are not the same thing at all. The term the commentary uses for this is khashya. Now, this isn't about fright or terror. It's a state of profound awareness and reverence that's actually rooted in knowledge and love of God. It's the awe you'd feel in the presence of ultimate truth and beauty and power, and it motivates you to act with precision and care, not to run away in terror. And to really hammer this point home, the commentator brings in another powerful verse, this time from Surah Al A. So fear not the people, but fear me. This is presented as the core principle for anyone who wants to uphold divine justice. It's the theological antidote to that anxiety we talked about earlier. And this, right here, this is the profound conclusion the commentator reaches. This state of khashya, this awe of God, is the ultimate key to liberation. It frees a person from the fear of criticism, the fear of losing status, the fear of worldly powers. It's what grants you the courage to speak truth and implement divine law without any compromise. So all these concepts we've discussed, the singular nature of the book, the mechanics of revelation, the reassurance to the prophet, and the liberating power of true fear, they're not separate ideas. They've all been building blocks leading us to the final, unambiguous command given in verse 3. And this brings us to the ultimate takeaway. After establishing the divine, perfect, and anxiety-free nature of the revelation, the command is incredibly simple and absolute. Follow it. And just as important, do not follow any other guardians apart from him. So understanding this term awliya is absolutely key. It's the plural of wali, and it means guardians, protectors, or authorities. In this specific context, the source defines it as any entity, whether that's a person, an institution, an ideology, a tradition, or even an internal desire that you take as your ultimate source of guidance instead of what God has revealed. The source is really practical here. It doesn't leave this as some abstract idea. It gives concrete examples of what following other awliya looks like. It can be as direct as following satanic whispers, or as subtle as prioritizing your cultural traditions when they conflict with divine guidance. It also includes submitting to political or social systems and their laws when they demand disobedience to God's law. And so, after all of that deep forensic analysis, it all comes down to this one central conclusion. The command is for exclusive obedience. Submission to God's revelation, as the source presents it, has to be total and uncompromising, rejecting all other competing claims to authority over a believer's life. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. If this book is truly what the commentary says it is, a singular, perfect, and complete reality sent down from God, how does that change the weight and the urgency of the command to follow it exclusively, without any exception? Thanks for joining us.